everyone. Before we get started with the agenda, we'll stand up, face the flag, and do the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so this is a business meeting of the Riverwalk Academy, Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. We'll start off with our number one agenda item, which is roll call, and I'll start to my right. Say your name.
Bridget Dunn.
Corbin Stripling, Matt Wallace.
Adele Spears.
Derek Bennett.
Peggy Riley.
All right, and we do have quorum. Next up is the second item, agenda item, new members swearing in ceremony, Mary Allison Cardell.
Hey, everybody. Our new board members will please stand up. And you've got your oath of office. If you will just repeat after me, raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
Swear.
that I am duly qualified
I am duly qualified
according to the Constitution of this state
According to the Constitution of the state.
to exercise the duties of the office
to exercise the duties of this office,
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve,
and observe,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution of this state
the Constitution of the state
and the United States.
and the United States.
So help me God. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you.
All right, moving along, we have item number 3 on the agenda, the consent agendas. Everyone had an opportunity to review. Of course, the link is available to all of us prior to this meeting. Any changes that need to be made? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries, consent agenda is approved. Next up, item number 4, recognitions.
So we've got some outstanding student athletes to recognize this evening for some their athletic performances from last school year. And some staff that we'll be recognizing as well. So we're going to start off with our students. So these group of students that I'm getting ready to put up here now were named to the 1A All-State track team from spring of last school year. And so as being an All-State track member, we've got a plaque for them this evening. And I know some of the athletes were able to make it, some weren't due to athletics that they're meeting right now. But the folks that are here, we will recognize them. So we'll start with Lakin Dawkins, who is being recognized for being named to the 4x8 meter relay team All-State. So Lakin, look them up and we'll get a photo and our athletic director and high school principal, Mr. Ball, we have our one of our first volleyball matches of the year for this team, so he's away with them this evening. Definitely love for the 4x800 meter relay team as well. So we've got a plaque for Declan. I don't think it was. Oh, there it is. Mr. Hunter Willis, who was named All-State for the 800 meters and the 1600 meters.
It's a good again. Two.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, he's got two more coming.
And the commanders here for recognized for two as well, 800 meters and 4x800 relay.
You can get, you can get everything.
Annie Carney for the 4x800 relay as well. And we get after one shot. Hayden Thurman, being recognized for the 4x800. Emmy Herring for the, for the 800 meter and the 1600 as well. Was able to make it, and then, Karen Kelly for the 4x800. Evie Carroll for the 1600. August Ferrand for the 4x800, and I saw August here, so. No, I didn't.
Get to it though.
Yeah, please do. And then lastly, Kaizen Scarborough for the 4x800 meter as well. And so we're recognizing them for their all-state performance, but we have two athletes that we're gonna recognize for the being named state champions last school year. So Miss Emmy Herring, state champion in the 1800 meter and the 1600 meter. So we will make sure we get those to Emmy. And then Mr. Hunter Willis, state champion in the 1600. Plus, I don't think we formally recognized him as our 1A state cross-country champion from the fall as well. So Hunter, we've got two more for you.
Yeah.
And so, all that happens, we're gonna come up, we're doing one big group photo, and so, all the athletes we recognize this evening. And.
Bring it with them yet? Oh, yeah, they were going to bring at least one. And
then Karen, we got more plaques, we can pass it around.
Spread them out, get they go.
We gotta go landscape for this. A few more recognitions. We will start with we have some staff members this month. So just as a quick reminder, staff, students, parents can all nominate staff members of the month. And then a group in the elementary and one in the middle, one high gets together and looks through the nominations, and then from there picks their respective staff members of the month. So starting off with Miss Bussey in elementary, a colleague shared this about her. Miss Bussey has already proven this is going to be her best year yet. Her positive attitude, readiness to help out, and steady presence has been such a joy to see in the halls. Miss Bussey exemplifies our commitment to building positive relationships and bringing her glad to be here mindset every day at school. So Miss Bussey, for that reason, those reasons, those multiple, she was recognized as our August staff member of the month. And the real honor parking spot that she gets, that she shows up to park it.
Steve said, should tell my this.
Mr. Rollins, have they hung yours back there yet?
Not, oh. Mr. Cannon.
I did it.
Okay,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow, after the fun run, yes. So moving on to our middle school, Miss Brittany Rollins was, named as our August staff member of the month for middle school. And she too was nominated by a colleague who said the following: since joining Riverwalk, Miss Rollins has made our colleagues feel welcomed, valued, and part of the family from day one. As her nominator, she had multiple nominators, as one of her nominators wrote, her positive attitude and servant-hearted leadership makes Riverwalk Academy a better place for both staff and students. Ms. Rollins embodies our commitment to collaboration, accountability, and lifting up those around us. So congratulations, Ms. Rollins. I'll go ahead.
Thank you.
And lastly, our high school staff member of the month was Miss Dana Douglas. She was nominated by a colleague who said the following: as a trusted partner of planning and instruction, Ms. Douglas strengthened their strengths teaching and learning across building. A colleague noted that she's always willing to help her teachers, help her students, and her energy is contagious. Her collaborative spirit and unwavering support for our students with IEPs reflect the very best of our Riverwalk community. And for that reason, Ms. Douglas was named as our August staff member of the month. So that's it for recognitions. I appreciate you all letting me have a few minutes every meeting to recognize some of our staff and students. And that's what we've got for this evening. And we'd love for all of y'all to stay. I hope all of y'all stay. But if this is when y'all exit, I still to stay. So anyway, thank you. And if any parent wants to force their child to go take a photo, we will all turn around and not watch.
All right, we'll move along. Item number 5, public comment. Anything online? Looking at the first one. All right, next up, item number 6, head of school updates.
I haven't switched my photo up today. I realized I didn't grab a new one of Mr. Wallace later, so. Here we go, sneak one up. A few updates to provide everyone, so we just kind of got a potpourri of things, since it's been a while since we've done an update, so we'll start with enrollment. So our first 5 days, and 5 days, fifth day count is not a funding count. So the funding counts are the 45th day and the 135th day. But our fifth day report has an average daily membership 830.6 or 831.6, I'm sorry. And average daily membership is different than our head count. So head count on day 1 started at 829. Then on day 5 we were at 831. We're presently at about 835 right now. So we've had a little bit of movement since the start of school, but our targeted number was 830, so we landed kind of where we thought we would land. Had a little bit more movement in the upper grades. I think the nice new shiny high school up the street, folks wanted to go there, and haven't seen it yet. I was actually going to go ahead there last night, go see tennis play, but tennis rained out, or not rained out, heated out, would be the better term. So I haven't had a chance to go see them yet. But other than that, like I said, everything sort of landed kind of where we thought. did a little bit of a deep dive a couple weeks ago, just about our withdrawal. So when I look at all the data from 26, we've got, and whenever our family exits, we've got an exit survey, so we ask a variety of questions, everything from, was there an incident or something that led to you wanting to leave? Was there some policy you disagreed with? Was there, something else? And then, I've got a few other questions that we asked, things like, I think, would you recommend Riverwalk Academy to a friend? And then the last question being, would you consider possibly returning? So, when I look at all 64 of our withdrawals from January on, we're sitting at still 81% would still recommend us to a friend. 72% said that they would consider returning. And the rationale was mixed. We've got about half of the folks that were leaving for logistical reasons, relocating, things like that. We've got half that are leaving, going to their neighborhood zone school. So those are folks that are staying in the area but choosing another school. And then when we kind of look at the a little bit deeper as to like why folks are doing it, I think our biggest concentration really is the upper grades. It's and really it's rising 9th graders and 10th graders, and the big reason is just for broader elective, broader athletics. We've had several leave us for a larger marching band. We completely get it. We try to offer a lot, but our band's only going to be so big. And then I think a lot of families sometimes remember what it was like when they as adults were in school. And so some of it is, I think, searching for this thing that they kind of remember, but we do have a good number that will leave us as a rising 9th grader, and then they come back in 10th and 11th, just, realizing that bigger wasn't necessarily always better. So that's kind of wanted to share this, just, since we're kind of coming up with a new year and, other than graduating students, we haven't kind of looked at our 6 months in a while. And I will tell you, since we started doing these data back in 2019, we started, we're still, I think collectively, we're at like 86% still would recommend us. And right about 74%, indicate they would, consider coming back. So, we hate losing folks, but, I appreciate some of the honesty that they put in their exit surveys, and, also appreciate the fact that most folks aren't leaving because they're upset. They're, leaving because what they needed for the time period serves their needs. And so for, another part of their lives, they wanted to try something else. So again, just some data I felt compelled to share with y'all. Some construction update, we're almost done with construction updates. It really is starting to wrap up. For like 7 months now, we've been at 99% complete, waiting on the last 3 little things that are all out of our control to be done. And we finally saw some headway this past couple of weeks. So the turn lane on Mount Gallen has been installed. I haven't personally come that way to school yet, but I think it's operational, and DOT's getting their stuff out, so that's taken care of. And that was a requirement, it wasn't that we just got bored and said, hey, let's pay for a turn lane. But that was one of the requirements for DOT to sign off on the project. And so that was all factored into the cost. Duke Energy is allowed to add the light poles to the back of the middle high school building, and our middle high teachers are happy that they don't have to go out with flashlights anymore early in the morning or afternoons, because it's the lights are working. They, as part of the construction, they disconnected a panel of the light poles in the front and some in the circle, so we can tell they came out this past weekend, and we have fresh red paint marks all over the ground out there. So that's telling us that Duke's getting ready to reconnect the rest of our poles. So that should be done here momentarily. We've been trying to get DOT to work on that school zone. We were first instructed that they were waiting till the turn lane was done, and then they would tackle that. We've done some back and forth with our builder and our contractor, and a second proposal went back in actually yesterday for them to put that school zone on Hansville. And then we just still have some minor building troubleshooting, I think we figured it out, and I say we, the contractor, but, Mr. Cannon's office and our finance director's office and the conference room. Only when it rains and rains like at a certain angle does we get a little wet spot there. So, I think they finally figured that out. And so, like I said, it's starting to wrap up. I'm hoping that really, the next month will be the last one, and we can sign off on the construction package and be done with it. So wanted to share that with everyone. And then lastly, maybe last time. So statewide data has now become available without an embargo. We definitely have a lot of things that we celebrated and celebrate here. We did a little press release last week about it. Our 8th grade ELA is second of all schools in the charter school district. It was 15 points higher than the state, and all local districts. Our 8th graders knocked it out of the park. 7th grade, same thing. Saw some amazing growth. Still, 11-point head versus the state. 6th grade, and 6th grade been a work in progress for us for years. I think middle school just across the board is always a work in progress. They in all subjects beat the charter district, and then York 3 and York 1 as well. So definitely excited about that. Our high school folks, EOCs, continue to be incredibly strong. Biology, we've seen some growth with over the past year. We're happy that this year we did pass both York 1 and 3 with their biology pass rate. US history, oddly, has still been a kind of a work for us. We're just a little bit behind, but it's a low one across the state. It's always historically been a lower EOC for a variety of reasons, I think, but definitely we had a few point increase over the previous school year. Algebra 1 was another tested one, but because of the way they restructured high school courses, all of our students passed last year, I think, took geometry. So we didn't have a large Algebra 1 cohort. Our large Algebra cohort will be this year. So we'll be able to talk about that. Elementary in general did well. We had definitely some high spots, some spots where our grades have shown growth. We had a teacher change mid-year, which I think kind of impacted one of our grade levels. But I will tell you, coming out just the first 15 days of school, that grade level was completely different. So like I said, we're just happy and thrilled with kind of where we're at and what will happen next. So these are raw data. So every student who took a test at Riverwalk Academy, regardless if it was a student that was only here for one day or a student that was here for all year. For accountability purposes, the state applies business rules. So the student has to be here on the 45th day. If they enroll after the 45th, then they don't count for us. And so what's happening now, the next 6 weeks, is the state's now starting to release embargoed accountability data. So the first data they just released was the school climate. I think multilingual learners is this week's data. The last piece of data that they will release is the academic data. So and that from there is where we get our report card rating. So we'll start having an idea probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks where we're going to land. And then I think they're shooting for like the first weekend in October for those data to talk public. So again, we're watching it. We definitely feel good in the areas where we still need to grow. We spent a good bit of time this summer strategizing and like I said, I'd tell you, just walking through elementary or middle or high, these first 15 days, it looks night and day different than last year, and so we can't imagine. Excited to see where we go. So wanted to share that. And then get you slowly acclimated to this wonderful thing called Act 123 of 2026. So it's kind of being coined the Big Charter Accountability Act. Mary Allison kind of talked to y'all a little bit about it as well. I've included a copy of it. If you're having trouble sleeping tonight, so tab 50 in your notebook and read. It definitely is a cure for insomnia. But there's some big changes that are coming out and they're coming out sort of in bits. So things that we've got to do, some things that we've been doing that, you know, no change to us, and then some things that are brand new, and some things that our authorizer and other authorizers in the state are still trying to figure out. So I think this will be probably a monthly topic I give you all updates on. And so just a big high level overview. It kind of broken into 4 areas: financial and operational transparency. So everything from mandated posting or audits, which we have always done, our operating budgets, which we've always done. So they have come out specifically and said charter schools have to release the transaction registers, credit card statements, and any transaction that's over $100. So those are being done now. And so when you go to our website, under required website documents, there's one called transparency. And so our June statements are all there, our July statements are there. And so those are things that we're starting to do now. It requires transparency and disclosure regarding EMOs, which we do not have one. And so again, there's some other things that I think are coming out with financial transparency, everything from like procurement requirements, and I imagine we'll be giving some guidance on things that we have to consider as a school to update based on the Accountability Act. Governance, so it establishes stricter conflict of interest rules for charter schools and their governing board, standardizes election procedures, and clarifies, it was kind of chuckling as the question that came up earlier, clarifies ground rules for member removals. And I think what they've done, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's I think a little easier now than it was. So I think there was some kind of gray area about how boards kind of self-govern. And it requires mandatory vacating of board seats if a member is under. So y'all be good out there. And don't look at that as a way to get off. I see some. So there's that. Authorizer and oversight changes. So updated the term now. It's called an authorizer. It strengthens compliance obligation, which we're feeling at the school level. About once a week, we're getting Act 123. Here's your weekly update, and here's the new set of things that we need y'all to send us. So we're definitely sort of seeing it there. Strengthen obligations for higher eds to enforce, and that's kind of been an area that's been in the news a lot recently. And it clarifies procedures for schools replication transfers between authorizers, what you call authorizer shopping, and automatic closure conditions for schools that are underperforming. So a lot of changes forthcoming. Like I said, it's sort of being wheeled out in segments, and imagine multiple updates over the next couple of months. I'll be sharing with you all about specifics that we're having to do with discussions that the board might have to undertake. So all of that will be forthcoming. Start of the school. So just a few things I just wanted to throw out. We welcomed our new staff right before school started, the day before the staff returned, and we have a phenomenal group that has joined us and just really hit the ground running. We have fully staffed, which we're excited about. So they were all there welcoming everyone for the welcome week, the teacher, and our back to school, our scheduled pickup. So that was sort of exciting to go through as part of our staff onboarding. So we had multiple sessions that we provided to all staff. So, one of them was, something called the Riverwalk Way. So, what are the expectations to be a Riverwalk employee? What is it that we Riverwalk, stand for? What do we want to do? So we talked about things like our norms and our commitments, and just, what we sort of believe in. Sessions with our Power School gurus, Ms. Baby, and everything from, the updates with our student information system. Also, this came out of last month's meeting, but also did a session for all staff on harassment, intimidation, and bullying. So we completed our annual training for that. So we did that on day 4 of all the staff returning. We had 92 folks that cycled through that session. Staff were trained to immediately report suspicion or their suspicions of bullying or harassment to either my office, to their immediate principal's office, or to our human resources director as well. They know that they don't investigate things like that on themselves, when it gets to those three words, that's something that we as the school have a process for that we as administration will deal with. Training also covered our sexual harassment, mandatory reporting duties is required by law, reinforced our strict no retaliation policy for everyone who reports in good faith. So whether it's, something about, harassment, intimidation, bullying, or, any other concerns, that we clearly have a no retaliation policy. And as we looked at, the requirements of the Safe Schools Act, we made sure that all the updates and aspects of those regulations were covered. And so we did that, so with our staff and right before school started. And so we then next thing you know, open day happened and our safety patrol was all there bright and early that morning and welcomed everyone. So so excellent, great start to school. Like I was telling someone earlier, it's been a unique start because of the stuff that we're doing with Boosterthon. So I think we'll really next Monday, we'll really start getting back into that grind. I mean, it's still happening while Boosterthon's here. We're still doing already testing, and still doing all of our onboarding with all of our students. So academics and assessments and all are still happening. It'll just be nice to kind of get back to our group of things, without, the additional excitement that Boosterthon and their staff bring. So, we'll get to this week and next week we'll feel like a brand new week. Everything we taught them the first week and a half of school that they've since forgotten about since Boosterthon's got them all excited. We'll be covering that again in next week, but anyway, just a few other quick updates with elementary. Safe Patrol students are back on duty. Absolutely love them. Starting each morning by welcoming our students and families with a smile, helping them with the door, making everyone sure feel like they're welcome as they arrive. And these really, this last year, fourth graders, now fifth graders, really are turning into student leaders. It's just been amazing to watch them do their thing. Elementary has resumed with their action team. So from planning and collaboration with their teams to spreading a little cheer with breakfast, staff continues to work together to make the world a great place. Proud of the teamwork, energy, commitment with these action teams. And we've got a variety of them that bring to our school. So everything that focuses on, staff culture and climate, so like our Sunshine Committee, all the way down to student behavior expectations. And we've got just a whole gamut of elementary teams that are working. So excited to see elementary back in full swings. Our middle school is doing the same. So like I just mentioned a minute ago, we've already finished our first round of iReady testing. So that lets us sort of know where our students are, where's our strengths, where's our weaknesses, where's, what group of standards or things that we need to spend some extra time with. And then it also helps middle school to help with their Lions Lab, Learning Lab, which is part of their intervention model. So we've got that, grade level PLCs. Dr. Dempsey and Mr. Cannon have done a phenomenal job with that. Already having conversations with them about their big project for this year. Excited, we did this last year, we're gonna do it again this year. We'll have a big open house on the 25th for our middle and high school. At that, during that meeting, we'll distribute SE rate scores, PTSA information, teacher check-in and interim progress. So we're excited to be able to showcase what we're doing and where our students are. So that'll be on the 25th next week. Another big thing that Mr. Cannon and all the administrators are doing a great job with is kind of just spreading those positive referrals. So whether it's in the form of a positive note that we handwrite to actually logging a positive referral in the system. So, since in the past 2 weeks, middle school loans had 15 of them. And that doesn't count in the number of postcards that have gone, because I've snatched pictures of lots of postcards from your middle school team. So, but we're excited that, we are able to focus on positive relationships and, and when kids do good things, we want to make sure that we stop and recognize that as well. And then celebrating our outcomes. So excited about the growth and just the scores that we've got within the charter district and our local school districts. And that's really kind of just push the excitement forward with our teachers, and they're excited about, you know, the work they did last year to get these outcomes, and so that's kind of motivated them to do it, you know, next time and do it next time even better. And then the other thing Mr. Gannon's done, which we love, is when you walk into the school building, they've got a data wall up. So a little picture there. So everything from where our students are middle school wise with iReady, beginning of the year, where we ended up in the spring with SC Ready, tracking student attendance, teacher attendance, referrals, behavior. So he's got a whole little gamut of data points that's out there for everyone to see. And I appreciate that even teacher attendance is out there. There's definitely a correlation between, you know, teachers being here and what they do with the student outcomes. High school, same thing. They're piggybacking on the middle school open house on the 25th. In 2 days or 3 days, our first senior class meeting will happen. On August 21st, this Friday at 11. We've got a high school newsletter website that's active, where we try to break it down with overall high school news, grade level specific information, sections on college and career readiness and resources, scholarships, volunteer opportunities, and much more. And so that's up and running for all of our high school students. PLC and PBL action teams are just like middle school, are underway, and Dr. Dempsey and for high school, Mr. Ball are doing a great job with those. And we've got 68 students currently taking Blue courses on campus and at York Tech. And so that has kicked into high gear this week. Lots of excitement, lots of things happening. Like I said, next date, we'll be able to break down some of our data levels for y'all, and by then we'll have a little bit of iReady data to be able to share as well. So that's kind of what we've done over the past 3 weeks. Any questions or?
The dual enrollment program, is that strictly a partnership with York Tech? Does what do anything like that, or USCL, or they're away, but.
So for us, and it is primarily with York Tech. So this year we've expanded it to Winthrop because we are offering 2 courses in the spring, teacher cadets, and I believe a psychology course are the 2 that we're going to pair, and just with teacher cadets and for our students to be able to earn credit through that. That was something that we kind of wanted to open it up for. For a lack of us being a smaller school and trying to understand all the nuances at one place, you know, we really, we're ecstatic about the relationship and it's meeting needs. But before we sort of started looking at branching out to Winthrop USCL, we some of the other schools have partnerships there. We've not really had a strong interest from our student body for things that are outside the scope of York Tech. So we're excited about that. And we celebrate every year our students who earn things like their associates or their university studies, which is the halfway point. But one of the bigger things that's starting to happen is the increase of our number of students who are earning career pathways. So last year, we had a student who was the only high school student in the state, or sorry, in this area, graduate from York Tech with their associates in automotive. There's a second word there. Automotive something. But he was the only graduate from a dual enrollment school. So things like associates, or they're like associate of arts, associate of science. A lot of dual enrollment students, both here and other schools earn those. But we were excited about that. We had about 4 others earn a career completing certificate as well last year. So that's one of the bigger things that really excites us is the career training opportunities that they can get there as opposed to the other schools.
No, and I'll say to expand upon that, what we have is, so when our students are at the high school level and take our high school courses and then they go to tech, sometimes there's a lot of, I wouldn't say miscommunication. lack of communication. So what we put in place at the high school level, and Coach Ball and I talked about, was we have a person that's in position to keep track of our kids that are enrolled in high school courses with us at Riverwalk High School, and then kids that are enrolled at Tech. And he is a liaison in between where they are on attendance, where they are on grades, because oftentimes what's happened in the past is we find out in the 25th hours, kids' attendance problem, kids' academic problem. So what we put in place this year is a liaison that's gonna check in with those kids, and he checks in with them weekly to make sure that they're where they are attendance wise, academic, the whole nine, before it becomes an issue.
FERPA and all of us with kids that are doing dual enrollment, kids are the drivers at that point. And so York Tech, like the other institutions, will give us the 4.5 week and the 8 week or 9 week updates. But a lot can happen between the time. So one of the things is now we weekly check in where all of our students are going to send a screenshot because we don't have access to the grades behind, behind the scenes system. So. Yeah. I appreciate it.
All right, item number 7 on the agenda, action items, 7.1. Harassment, intimidation, and bullying policy update.
Yeah, so, put it in a folder, like, we talked earlier today and just things over time or updates in state statutes and whatnot, causes you to take a look at our policies. And so last, couple months, I've kind of taken a deep dive in, harassment, intimidation, and bullying policy. So the policy itself is our school's official harassment, intimidation, bullying, establishes the code of conduct expectations, defines prohibited behaviors, including physical, verbal, electronic, and sexual harassment, details reporting, investigation protocols, supports measures and prevention against retaliation. So, when they looked at any of the updates that have taken place, Mary Allison, her team made a few recommendations, mostly kind of vocabulary refinements that standardizes the language and things like factors and examples for determining consequences section, replaces words like corrective action with consequences and remedial measures. And then there's just some stuff like, one thing that kind of stuck out was tutoring as a remedial option. So like I said, Mary Allison and her team has gone through, and what we've got is the sort of the red line version of the policy with the recommended changes in there. So I've got that. I know Mary Allison's here to answer any questions that y'all may have for that as well.
This isn't a question, but there was one item when I was reviewing it that I saw that I think might just be a typo that needs to be adjusted on the bottom of page 3.
Okay.
So it looks like the bullet point list wraps to the next page. And potentially, so where it says neighborhood situation, should we strike the and for the to the next line so that it's
It'll flow. Yeah,
yeah,
we can certainly do that.
that was the only thing that I caught.
No problem, certainly.
Who I'm gonna start sending documents to now. Good guess. I said, I know who I'm gonna start sending documents. to.
Oh, give me a red pen, I'll have fun.
I'll send you that in.
The previous policy missing like a, where it's defined school property, what. Where the policy falls into place, where it's in effect. Was it broader or something on the previous one? I wasn't here.
Yeah, no, it was slightly broader and we've just added some more definitions,
Okay.
legal references, and made it clear that it applies to.
Okay.
So under definitions, and because it applies to staff and maybe other personnel, when we're talking about discipline, are there guardrails in here that draw a line between discipline and harassment? So I can see how you could kind of define something as harassment that might just be discipline, right?
Yeah, I think, in the first page, we have the definition, definitions of harassment. Harming a student physically, emotionally, or damaging a student's property, or placing a student in reasonable fear of personal harm or damage to his or her property. Insulting or demeaning a student or group of students in such a way as to cause substantial disruption in or substantial interference with the orderly operations. So I think that's certainly how we defined, harassment, intimidation, or bullying. We have not defined discipline, but yeah, I know that y'all have positive behavior intervention supports in the school, and also have a student code of conduct, which outlines how appropriate forms of discipline.
Like what's in the preview of classroom teacher, but what makes its way up to us.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, that we got there, yes.
I guess the board's got sort of a couple of choices. One, would be for someone to make a motion to accept it. And for y'all to discuss, or if board feels like it needs more time, would be to make a motion to for the board to table till next, but
So I'll make a motion to accept the policy as presented. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
we'll get the typo fix for the grammatical
Yeah.
change updated, and we'll get it up on the website. Thank you.
I'll send it on.
All right, action item number 7.2, head of school evaluation, Dr. Robert Compton. Protection and safety of all staff and students.
So we've kind of cycled back to a new start, where the board has come up with 9 different areas, and we kind of look at each one area each month, and this month is the expectation for the protection and safety of all staff and students, and so the expectation is that the head of school may not operate Riverwalk Academy in a way that jeopardizes the physical safety of its staff or students. So that's what y'all's expectation is, right? I kind of interpret that as the Riverwalk may not operate in a way that jeopardizes, it's a physical safety, the staff students, and that specifically means that the school premises are secured against unauthorized access, all visitors are screened for entry. All state required safety drills are conducted and documented, schedule. Any identified safety hazards addressed promptly to prevent harm. Timeliness of that in the elementary building today is perfect. I'll tell you all about that in a second. And then all adults working with supervising children have additional screening and background checks before being able to be assigned to those roles. And so the way the board has typically done this is before we get into, do y'all think I'm in compliance or not? Does the board agree with my interpretation of what y'all's expectation? So we'll stop there for a second.
So when this says safety of all staff and students, you particularly mentioned physical, do you feel that means mental and wellness in some capacity or not?
I've not thought about that. I think historically, the thought process has been the physical safety of the students. So that's the bigger piece that, I'm gonna say bigger expectation, but that's the bigger expectation that level of security is taken care of. The other piece I think would fall under, like we talk about, there's one specifically about student discipline, and climate, like I think that would fit there, but no, this one's talking about the security of the physical building and the physical safety of staff.
Thanks.
But kind of here, this will be where if y'all are so inclined, if y'all feel like my interpretation is accurate, then if the board would vote, say, I'll agree with my interpretation of y'all's expectations.
Based on the information you provided and your answer to my question, I agree with that, is interpretation of the sign.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So then it gets to the second part, and so the second part being, am I living up to those expectations? And for the new folks on the board, the timeliness of each of these topics, like I would rather know here on the third week of school that y'all did not or did not think that I was meeting those expectations. Like, the thought behind all this, years ago was, if there was a concern about safety, you telling me in April doesn't do any good if I could have fixed it earlier. And so you'll find that each topic is timely around whatever's the real life happening in the school. So, in October, we'll be talking academics. In January, February, we talk financial because our audit just comes out. And so that's sort of the intent. So the next piece being the compliance piece. And so I believe I'm in compliance with the expectations that I'm operating the school in a manner that doesn't jeopardize the safety or security of the school. And document out, I think it was effective here. There's going to be a few highlights really quick. So kind of broken it down into 4 sections: visitor screening, safety drills, hazard identification response, and then background check. So things that we've done, and I've given you some examples for in the document. So visitor screening. So we use Synvex visitor management system at all entry points in both buildings, and just pulled the data from the first day of school to today. And every visitor we've had 59 visitors that have come in past the front of the doors, excluding things like meet the teacher night, that have been screen verified and issued badges before gaining access. The system will, if there's any sort of issue or perceived issue, because it's running quick a background check or registry check. So every once in a while, we'll get a notification via text that, you know, two things happen. We'll get a notification via text and email, and the badge that prints out says, please see reception. So we'll get something that says there's an alert to a visitor. And so it'll give us the link to click, and it'll show us what was scanned. It'll show us what it was matched to. And in 96% of the cases, it's just a bad match. You know, this man is clearly not this woman. And so it's like that. It might have similar names, but it got flagged for whatever reason. Or, you know, for us to look and say, you know, yes, this person is either like on a sex registry. In cases like that, doesn't necessarily mean that the person can't enter the building for a meeting or whatnot. It just means that, you know, in that case, that, you know, that person will be escorted by one of us who will sit and have lunch with the kids as well. You know, I can't only think of a couple times in a decade where we've actually had that. But, you know, the system does a good job. So, and then in Appendix A just is a quick snapshot of, you know, the screenings that took place just earlier today. So you can see kind of what it looks like. Safety drills, all state mandated drills are scheduled and logged. Today we've done our initial drill that has to happen within the first 10 days of school. So our fire drill, and which kind of jumps to the hazardous identification. So in our elementary drill that we did last week, the lights flashed, but no sound happened. There was no alarm and no nice calm lady telling us that fires have been reported in the building, please exit quietly. And so our staff and students did an awesome job knowing that, hey, the alarm's flashing, we still need to evacuate. But because of that drill, we realized that our voice panel is malfunction. The next day, we had the person on site and discovered that 3 days prior to that drill, when that big storm came through 2 weeks ago, that panel got fried. So they were out today, the panel is fixed. And so the last hour and a half of school, those lights were going and the sound was happening. And so we're happy to report that found an issue and it's been promptly fixed. Lockdown drills will be happening now that, you know, once Boosterthon's done, so we'll have those in both buildings as well. We do have a drill log, so, you know, when fire marshal came on site this year, first thing we did was give them our log. Could care less about our log. That's another story for another day, but we have everything to be able to show. And then we've got a manual as well that's reviewed and submitted to the authorizer for approval. You know, I didn't put the bullet point about the voice enunciator being malfunctioned, but, you know, prior to start of school, we went around and, you know, anything that looked off or a random, you know, a bench that had something that was broken, we kind of took care of right before the school got back. And then that fourth piece being additional screening. So 100% of all of our new staff and 100% of all returning staff, we only have to do it once, has been, their background checks conducted, slot checks have been done. Because of Act 123, and we really haven't shared this with staff, so I got 3 staff that are hearing it for probably the first time today. And it's not because we haven't, we just are trying to figure out how to process it. So this year, starting now, because of Act 123, all charter school employees and board members, specifically says board members, has to have a background check done in the DSS system. Brand new. I've got lots of questions about it personally. Why charter schools and not traditional schools? That's another story for today. But I don't write the laws, and I'm sure we adhere to it. So we're coming up with a process now. So we've got our process moving forward, but we're trying to figure out kind of internally how to deal with gaining consent and running all the background checks back into DSS. Rationale is that you can have something pop in the DSS system. It doesn't rise to SLED's worthiness. I don't know what the right word is. And, you know, the other thing, and this is, you know, I think everything that gets put in there gets put in there for a reason. So clearly somewhere, not at Riverwalk, I'm 100% sure about that. But some school hired somebody that did not get something flagged in SLED, would have got flagged in DSS, so. So we are not compliant in that, but so it's new for this year and we will be starting that. And then all of our chaperones and one-on-one volunteers are have additional background screening. So currently we have a total list of 60 that have been screened. And our background, our visitor screening is different than our volunteers. So anyone that's could be one-on-one with the student or in charge of a small group like a chaperone, things like that. Go through a third-party company that we use, Background Investigation Bureau, BIB, to do those screenings, and they'll do it, they look at all 50 states. They run sex registry and a few other things, so we've had 4 new ones apply since the beginning of this school year. And that's bringing our total list to 60 that are on our approval list, and I've given an example of a screenshot from that database as well. Also that after Steve graphics. But anyway, that's in there, and so, like I said, I think we take our school safety seriously, it's definitely a priority of ours, and something I think we're living up to the expectations of the board.
I'll entertain a motion that Dr. Compton is in compliance with the protection and safety of all staff and students monitoring. Any discussion?
I just have one question on the DSS check piece, which I know that it's like brand new and this thing, but with that part of it, are we making sure obviously different things flag on, I know how the DSS check system works, but it's a little different. What are we doing if someone pops on that and we, obviously have time to respond? That's not like an automatic issue.
Mary Alice and I were actually talking about this earlier today. So, every case is gonna be individual.
Okay,
And so I would kind of treat it just like we do with SLED checks, just because you got a record on something that gets popped in the SLED system doesn't mean that it was something negligent, immoral, some improper action with the student. And then, so a non-adult to student mistake that was a decade ago. It's completely different than someone that gets, is been found guilty for something a little bit more severe.
yeah,
And the
and I
same
know
thing-
sometimes like a DSS check will show unsubstantiated,
Yes.
and if a claim was made or something like that, and I just don't want a teacher I don't want that extra stress on them. So I know that that's state law, we gotta do what we gotta do, but
So
just wanna make sure they're not stressing out of that.
I think our takeaway, correct me if I'm wrong, is it is same with the DSS. So DSS, just because someone is in the system, doesn't mean that anything was found guilty, doesn't mean that it was pursued. And so I don't think the law specifically says anyone that has a flag in the DSS system automatically equates to X. I still think there's some discretion there
Yeah, and
in most cases.
I've seen the letters so far have been that, this person's been flagged in the system, we believe that the alleged conduct disqualifies the person under this specific statute. And then if the employee disagrees with this finding, he or she can contest it.
Okay,
So it's they do some analysis on the front.
okay.
So that's how.
Sorry, guys, I'm not trying to derail us. I just
That's
worry about, I want the teachers be able to focus on teaching, and I know state law is what it is, but I just wanna make sure they're not getting derailed on something like that.
And that's our goal too. I mean,
Yeah.
I imagine most schools are doing it right. That's probably a fair concern that everyone's got.
Good.
A great question.
Any further discussion? All right, so we have a motion and a second on the table, take a vote, and all those in favor? Any opposed? Carries.
Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Board positions.
We all get a job, not quite.
Especially if you're new. Especially if you're.
All right, so I've never been through these elections before, so I might need some guidance here, but it looks like first on the docket is chair.
So I'll just throw this out there, y'all, and I was typed this up, and I didn't wanna skew anything. I believe y'all can handle it a variety of ways, just one by one, you know, person up, you can go in that order, you can go in whatever order you want. But then also, y'all could decide, correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor Allison, but if just one person wants it, then y'all can just put forward the slate of folks and say, you know, these folks. And then if somebody disagrees with that, then anyway, we've got a few options.
That's right. You can take it position by position if you like. That's sort of how it's listed on the agenda, or you could do a slate, so however.
Heads up, 7 Up, like,
That is, all right, so just for the way my linear brain works, we'll just go position by position.
Sure.
So chair is number one. I'm happy to put my name forward as chair. Okay.
Yeah, we can take a vote on that now.
Yeah. Right, I'm my party there, so we just need a motion, I move, yeah, to select, board chair, and then second, and take it back.
I move to elect Mac Wallace as board chair.
Second.
Any discussion?
Discussion?
No.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, congratulations, Nate. Next up, vice chair. Have any nominations?
Nominate Dr. Bennett as vice chair.
Second.
You did.
I thought one of the leader, like,
There. Can't do that.
Any discussion on Dr. Bennett or additional names?
Do we need to do one additional name?
whoever wants. You want to give one name?
I mean, I would gladly throw my name in there, but I don't wanna.
Okay, I make a nomination, what's it?
All right, I mean,
Vice
I
chair.
think flashbacks to last year, when you and Matt, like, I think you pulled the wool out of all of
Making a
this.
motion
Yes,
because of his interest that he be vice chair. And he's apparently very more knowledgeable than me. I would not have thought about the question about the.
All right.
Second,
So we have
2 nominations on the board.
2 nominations on the board.
I
Dr.
would draw
Bennett.
my number.
Okay.
Bennett has recalled himself from his own
For
nomination.
Mr. Corbin.
All right.
Second,
So we're now down to one name, for, vice chair, and that is Corbin. We can take a vote on that. All those in favor of Corbin as vice chair, say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
What I just mentioned. I've done this before, a couple of boards. Okay.
All right, next up, secretary. Do we have any nominations?
I nominate Mrs. Bennett.
I second this.
Any additional names? Good. All right, so we have a motion and a second from Ms. Mazzoni. All those in favor? Any opposed? Congratulations again. All right, and the final position to be filled is treasurer.
I make a motion for Amy.
Second,
You sure you don't want that one, Dr. Bennett?
he's smart.
All right,
Tell him she loved.
I mean, she does.
so we have a motion and a second for Amy as treasurer. Any discussion? We'll take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Amy. All right, that completes item number 7. So item number 8, board chair updates. I just want to thank the new members for volunteering on this board and for actually, taking a, position on the board as vice chair. That's big, you're just jumping right in there. And also, I didn't want to say the athletics here, and I probably should have said it earlier while they were here. I think it's pretty amazing
They're all
how,
listening.
yeah, how good they are, for such a small cohort. And I was at a park last Thursday evening, Westminster Park, and they were out there grinding on the cross-country course, so. They put in the work there, and then they go and win state championships.
Athletic classifications, you can still really competitive.
That was very competitive, particularly around here.
Yeah, it's not like it's,
Yeah,
you know, it's not like it's an easy thing to win a state championship, do it,
but it's not.
And we've added a new fall sport, tennis. So a little bit of shuffling, so tennis is new to us. Volleyball is middle school volleyball, high school volleyball, and then cross country and swim. Basketball, I think we're gonna have JV girls next year, hoping to have enough for middle school girls. After that, we've got the 2 teams for high school, for men's basketball, and then adding boys tennis in the spring as well, so.
Where would they play tennis?
Rockville Tennis Center, they have been amazing partners. They're super excited about having a new group out there. They've had some of the pros working with our students, so it's been great so far, minus the heat.
Very good. All right, so number 9, adjournment. I'll take a motion to adjourn if we're so inclined. Second. All right, any discussion? We are adjourned.